Okay, we can do that. We'll kind of settle in here. What I'm going to talk about is the vibration of fun, okay? Because fun is a very high vibration, and vibration determines us. And so we'll see who all stays here. But, to start with, nobody else can vibrate for you. Nobody else can laugh for you. Nobody else can be healthy for you. It's up to each of us individually. And so what we want to do, or what I do every morning, is the first thing I do before I even get out of bed is I set an intention and an expectation. And I set that intention to laugh and be happy and have fun all day. And it works very well for me. All right. And so, but we have to stay there. And the way we stay there is to look forward to the day and have the day planned. Okay. I'm talking about planning our future, living today, but planning for tomorrow. If you're not looking into building your future, you're looking into the past. And most people, when they look in the past, their vibration goes down. Okay. Because the past only exists when you send energy back there to keep it alive. Otherwise, it can't exist. So the past goes away when you stop thinking about it, when you stop looking at it, when you stop reliving it. And I'll go one step farther. You're not remembering your past. You're imagining the memory of your past. That's why it keeps changing. That's why, the fish you caught that was 13 inches long now is 17 inches long or 18 inches long, because we keep embellishing our drama. So that's one of the main problems. They've scientifically, they've done testing and showing like 50% of what people remember didn't even happen because they've embellished it so much by imagining it. And imagination is the consciousness creating its future. That's the best definition I've heard of it. Consciousness is imagination, or imagination is consciousness creating its future. So your imagination is your consciousness creating your future. So Einstein said, imagination, or no, it's Tesla. Imagination will take you anywhere. Where knowledge, you're limited to how far you can go with knowledge, but there's no limit on imagination. So use your imagination to support you, and then learn to be your own best friend. When you look at, so many people play mental football inside their own head, kicking themselves around. Oh, I should have done this, all that self-talk that's lowering your vibration. The lower your vibration, the more you are in the physical. And so the more dense your body is. When you're imagining, you're working in your upper energy centers, your upper chakras, and you're going more into being the wave or the particle. And so you're not as dense, your body is more flexible, you have better balance, everything works along in that direction. So now to keep all this going, you've got to take care of this body in the physical world. The number one challenge for most people is dehydration. Okay, if you want to be flexible, if you want to be fluid, if you want to have good memory, you want to hear good, all of that requires water, not Coke, not coffee, but water. Okay, good water will help keep you vibrating higher. And then the need for sea salt. The other third most critical thing in the body is sea salt, because sea salt creates the osmotic pressure that holds water in your blood for you to stay hydrated. So when you're hydrated, you've got better balance, you're thinking better, because dehydration actually will shrink the brain over time. They've documented that scientifically. And so what I've done is I've written an article several years ago about, it's entitled Happiness is an Attitude of the Heart. And I'll email it to anybody that wants it. Just take my email and everything's in the chat, or you can put yours in the chat and ask for it. But it talks about, everybody wants to be happy and to find that solution. Well, the solution is, what we have to identify is considered a problem, but every problem has, a benefit to it. And so I've got 14 steps, because it all comes back to your attitude. Okay, when you're feeling good and you're happy, your attitude's strong, you're vibrating higher. Well, an attitude is a mental disposition towards people, events, and situation that controls your behavior. And so your behavior is the first expression of your thinking and your attitude. And it's like a circle, it just keeps going in circles. And so, the more negative, the more positive you're thinking, the more positive your actions, the more positive you're thinking again. And so there's 14 steps here. And the first one, number one, is be sure to start the day off in a way that supports you in moving forward toward your dreams, getting up early and having time to center yourself and getting to work early gives you a good positive feeling. So again, it's about setting an intention for your day. What do you want to do for the day? How do you want to feel? So mine is, I set an intention every morning about, I'm going to have laughter and fun all day long. And so the second one is look successful at all times. Good clothing, good grooming is important investment in your morale. So keep your car clean, your windshield clean, because that's your view of life. All right. And it's very important to see clearly where you're going. So the second thing is most people are going where they're looking instead of looking where they're going. And you can play that both ways. But what I mean by that is if you have a plan for the day to do this, this, and this, your checklist or whatever it is, then that's where you're going. But if you don't have a plan for the day, now you're looking at all the distractions around you, which will take, it's like traffic and all that will take you off course because you don't have a focus on your future. And again, imagination, creating that list of what you want to do, planning out how you're going to do it is your imagination creating your future. So the third one is associate with positive people who are cheerful, optimistic, and successful. You'll tend to imitate their attitudes. Your life will be an average of the 5 people you hang around with the most. Okay. And that's a fact. They've proven that over and over and over. Your life is an average of the 5 people you hang around with most. That's your attitude, the house you live in, the car you drive, your bank account, all of it. Because we're in that vibration. That becomes your signature vibration, your dominant vibration. So next, give yourself away. Do thoughtful things for others, and people will give you gives you a mental feeling of well-being that's conducive to success. And so, anybody that wants a copy of this article, just put it in the chat, or my email is in the chat. Just let me know, and we can go forward from there. And then fifth one is remember, if you are subject to emotional moods, don't take occasional periods of discouragement seriously. And what I've done is, for those new people that have joined us, is I wrote an article several years ago called Happiness is an Attitude of the Heart. And I'm kind of going through the 14 steps to stay positive every day and build the future you want. If you want a copy of that, well, let me know in the chat and I'll send it to you. So next is don't expect yourself to be perfect, okay? Expecting perfection from yourself, there's numerous factors you can't control that, will control your attitude if you're not staying on top of it in each situation. There's things and things happen for a reason. There's a lesson to be learned. Everything's about vibration. Wherever you're vibrating is what you're attracting to you. And there's a lesson to be learned there to whether to rise above it, to vibrate higher. So number 7 is work on the law of averages and look how far you've come, not how far you think you have to go. This is another thing where a lot of us, look into the past, about, the negative parts of life. And then, they're thinking how far they got to go all the time. Well, we don't know how far we got to go because your path changes as you grow and vibrate higher. And so it's not about looking how far you got to go. It's about, acknowledging how far you've come from where you started. So that's a biggie right there. Number 8, remind yourself that everyone who is realistic with their self feels inferior in several areas. Don't lower your self-confidence by comparing your weak points to other people's strong points. Okay, think back on successes accomplished only. So when I look back to the past, I look back for joy and happiness and learning. What did I learn here? Things like that. But I don't look back at the dramas. If I do, I catch myself quicker and quicker, because I'm human too. All right. And to start with, it was more challenging. But now I catch myself, if I start dwelling in the past, I catch it quicker and I come back to the future. What do I want to accomplish in the future? So number 9 is get some new interest. Avoid creating boredom for yourself. Boredom takes a lot of energy. It really does. It takes less energy to be happy than it does to be bored. Stretch and move outside your comfort zone. Change your approach until you get the results you want. So getting out of your comfort zone means, getting up and doing things that you don't feel like doing. So you got to override your feelings. Now, the problem here is you can't think any higher than the emotion you're feeling. So if your emotions are in a bit of drama, that's how far you can think. And so you've got to move out of that emotion. You got to be able to get conscious long enough to make that happen. And most people are unconscious most of the time. You can't change when you're unconscious. When you're unconscious, you're creating your past in your future. So the only way to create a new future is to become conscious long enough to make that plan, to stay planning your future. And again, the best way to do that is get people around you that are planning their future. So number 10 is make it a habit to use enthusiastic, colorful language, speak in a cheerful manner, use words that are positive rather than negative, and avoid negative as much as possible. So you got to stand guard at the interest of your own mind and stay positive. You got to, because positive is a higher vibration than negative. And so you got to stay in that higher vibration. It's cumulative. And the longer you stay there, the higher you vibrate. And that's the beauty of it. I say we're talking ourselves into success or out of success every moment. Nobody can do your self-talk for you. It's up to me to create my self-talk and confirm it. And so I keep things around me that help do that. I use a day timer. I keep notes. I know what my plan is for the day. And again, I set that intention in the morning to laugh and have fun all day long. And then, to grow healthier and happier through the day with every breath. I use that one too. So anybody wants a copy of this article I wrote called Happiness is an Attitude of the Heart, just put your email address in the chat, or my email address is in chat. Send me an email, either way, and I'll get it to you. So step number 11 is keep an orderly place in which to work and to live. Keep things you start, complete things you start while learning to organize and simplify your life more. One of the big things is keeping your home in your bedroom organized. One of the first things I did whenever I started to learn how to do this, one of the first things they taught me was to make your bed in the morning. Okay. It just, it just changes everything, because you've got a nice, your bed's all made up. It's not all, wrinkled and covers everywhere. And then that kind of flows into keeping everything else in order. But it's a great way to start the morning. It sets that, mental clock moving in the right direction. So keep an orderly place, because a cluttered mind, a cluttered room is a cluttered mind. They've proven that over and over. So you want to clear up your mind where you can think about where you want to go and live, create your future with your imagination and step into it every day, every moment of every day. And you can only do that when you're conscious. When you're unconscious, you go back the other way. And as you do this, you'll get conscious quicker. So, okay, it's all about vibrating higher. Number 12 is take a friendly initiative where other people are involved. Remember that others' actions toward you are often a reflection of how you act toward them. Remember, we almost always get what we expect. So expect the best from yourself and others. Expect what you want instead of what you don't want. Now, this is a big one, because again, I start every morning with everything is based on intention and expectation. And if you're looking at what you don't want, the universe doesn't have a picture for the word don't. All right. So if you are starting to talk about what you don't want, you're actually asking for more of it. Because think about it this way. If I say don't see a pink elephant, what do you see? Okay. If I say don't spill the milk, what picture comes to mind? Okay. You can't see yourself not doing something. So you always want to stay in the positive and ask for what you want. And, forget it. I used to do an exercise where I'd ask people to write down things that they want. And most people, 2 to 3 things about what they want, and then they'd start writing what they don't want. And like I say, the universe doesn't have a picture of the word don't. Don't doesn't have that vibration. You're going to get more of what you said you didn't want. So number 13 is stay proactive. During the time that you're committed to be proactive, make certain that you develop good work habits. Okay, and there, I'm going to go one to this part. Develop good play habits. One of the blessings I have is I love what I do. I never have to go to work. Okay, when it turns into work, I change it. I go somewhere else. I mean, I built a construction company here in Las Vegas, starting in my garage. I built it to 52 employees, 18 vehicles on the road, built my own commercial building. And the day I occupied the building, construction wasn't fun anymore, because that was my big goal. I didn't have a bigger goal to reach for in construction. And so construction wasn't fun anymore. I put it up for sale. I sold the business and went off to get into spiritual and personal development and holistic healing. So it's all about having fun, loving what you do. If you don't love what you do, start looking for something else. All right. Number 14 is stay on course. Make sure you know where you're going, and then commit yourself to stay on course until you get there. Learn to write down your dreams and your goals and the actions you will take daily to bring them into reality. So it's all about staying on course, and your course is going to change. What I started out with, years ago, I've been using a day timer since 1972, okay, and taking notes about what I want to accomplish. The reason I built my own building and everything was that was one of my big goals. I started drawing the blueprints. I created that in my imagination, and then the property showed up. The financing for the property showed up. Everything came together just perfectly. And so it was a lot of fun. But after I completed it, okay, I didn't have another bigger goal to reach for. So it was like a slump in my life. I bought the piece of property beside me. I was going to flip the blueprint over and build it again. And the money wasn't there. Nobody would fund it. It was back in the late 80s, I guess, around 82, 89. There was a slump here in Vegas. Anyhow, so they weren't, loaning for real estate as much. So anyhow, it's about, it's like attending the expo here today. One-time exposure to all this great information and all these magnificent people with their healing energy is great, but it's not going to change your life unless you plug into it somehow with one of the healers, or find even if it's a recorded program, or going to the classes. We got to stay in the energy to move forward. You got to keep raising your life force energy. And so that's the beauty of what we do with Vibrance, is we have self-care tools to help you raise your vibration and have more flexibility, better balance, and keep raising your signature vibration, because your signature vibration is related to everything in your life, including your bank account. Okay. The more negative you are, normally it's, you've got that lower bank account. Your car looks like it, your house looks like it. So again, your life's going to be an average of the 5 people you hang around with the most. The house, the language, everything. And so I acknowledge everybody for being here today, because this is a great way. It's one of the ways I started. My earliest mentors, I sold my construction company in 1987 after I built the building. And in 1986, I signed up for a Think and Grow Rich tape out of a magazine. And then I got a call from Success Motivation Institute. They flew me to Waco, Texas. I went through their program, became an associate with them, started teaching goal setting and time management. Everything just rolled perfectly. And so, but it was a system. I had to keep plugging back into that system. I started attracting different people around me with higher vibrations. And that's where it came from. And I've been self-employed my whole life. And how I did that was hanging around with business people when I got out of the Air Force. It was just, it wasn't something I did consciously. I did most of it unconsciously back then. But, self-employed people they're entrepreneurs. They have a different vibration and a different energy about them. So anybody have any questions on that? You want to just unmute yourself? Why? We can answer some questions here. Okay. All right. Well, we'll come back around a little bit. Okay, Christopher, can you unmute yourself? I see your hand up. I'm not able to unmute you. Is there any way you can unmute yourself, or let me? Oh, okay. I got the chat here. Let me see if you got something in the chat. Did you ask a question in the chat, Christopher? We also will change. Nope, don't see it there. Okay, yeah. You want a copy of the article? Okay, I got your email. Did you have a question over and above that? Okay. Well, there's several different ways of increasing your vibration. I'm going to go back over some of the basics for the human body. Okay. Number one challenge people have is dehydration. Dehydration slows down your circulation, takes you off balance. It starts, their spine is inflated with water, okay, your disc. So, when people start having back problems, a lot of times it's dehydration. Dehydration will shrink your brain, okay? And so the second piece of that is sea salt, unprocessed sea salt. And I've got an article on sea salt that I wrote called 17 Vital Functions of Sea Salt. It regulates your heartbeat, regulates your sleep. And I can send you a copy of that article. Just let me know in the chat. And then, okay, Christopher, I see you don't have a microphone. I appreciate that. So number one is staying hydrated, but drinking enough water. Sea salt is what creates the osmotic pressure that holds water in your blood. So you want to make sure you're eating unprocessed sea salt. And the one that vibrates highest is the Redmond's real salt out of Utah. It comes from underground. It's not been exposed to the nuclear testing, a lot of stuff like that. So anyhow, it vibrates the highest, vibrates higher than the Himalayan does. And then, so now you're staying hydrated, you got sea salt. And so that keeps your body more flexible, takes care of inflammation, because increased inflammation is because of dehydration and lack of salt. The first stages of diabetes is dehydration and lack of sea salt. So it's really important to stay hydrated so that your body stays healthier. And then do things like laughing, okay? Laughter raises the pH of your body. Laughter activates your lymphatic system to help detox your body. There's Norman Cousins is the biggest one. He was diagnosed with cancer. He went and rented a bunch of